Hi, everybody. This is Stephanie. Welcome to English Digest.
And this is Tom.
Hey, it's our all-English lecture. I've been speaking a lot of Chinese this morning, so this could be difficult. It's not always easy if you speak a lot of languages to stay in one language. Even on TV here in Taiwan, how many times do we hear people, on a game show or even having a political discussion, and they'll just throw in an English word or an English phrase, or they'll
all
do
the time.
Taiwanese with Mandarin and English all together.
Yeah, you can't help doing that, of course, if you're exposed to the language a lot. Like sometimes, of course, when I talk to people here and give them my phone number, I just give it to them in Chinese because I'm so used to saying it that way.
Can I tell you?
I don't even know what my number is in English, actually.
Can't say it in English. I have to say, just a second, I'll write it down, and then I read it.
Yeah, I'll have to get out my own business card or something.
That's pretty bad.
That might have something to do with our News Digest article for today. We're talking about a new search engine out there. It seems like there are quite a few to pick from.
Yeah.
There's, what is it, the one from Google? What's that one called with a circle?
Google Chrome.
Chrome, that's it. And then there's also Explorer.
I use DuckDuckGo. There's Bing. Bing is the new one.
Yeah, and then what's
Microsoft.
That one that's got a lion's face as the
It's
the logo?
Brave.
Brave, okay.
I use that one too.
And I tried to use Firefox a while ago, but I did not like their interface, so I did not choose to do it with their update. They always screw things up with the updates,
Sometimes it gets worse and not better, right?
Right. If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But we're talking about another search engine here. Hopefully, this is one that's going to help save the earth because this one's going to help us grow some trees, as we're going to find out. And there's this Dutch guy in, of course, the Netherlands who's come up with this idea. So let's find out what this is all about in today's All English lecture. It's our News Digest unit. Let's listen to today's lesson now one time. A Dutch university has adopted a new search engine as part of its campaign to become more sustainable. Maastricht University recently installed Ecosia as its default search engine on 800 student computers in labs and libraries across campus. The students overseeing the campaign hope that other university departments will install the site on their computers and devices as well. This is because Ecosia partners with tree planting organizations to plant one tree per 45 searches. Ecosia's founder, Christian Kroll, developed the search engine after his travels through Asia and South America inspired him to work on a project dedicated to positive social change. Kroll built his first search engine in Nepal, abandoning it when it became clear Nepal's electrical grid wouldn't be able to support it. The engine, called Zabel, was designed to generate funds for the many non-governmental organizations operating in Nepal. Despite Zabel's failure, Kroll liked the idea. Later in Argentina, Kroll's study of reforestation gave him the idea for a site that would support tree planting and forest restoration projects in an effort to offset carbon dioxide emissions. Aside from winning several major awards in the environmental world, Ecosia has also had the honor of being deemed Germany's first B Corporation. This certification designates a company that uses business to solve social and environmental issues. While these distinctions are certainly impressive, it's the global sustainability efforts that Ecosia devotes itself to that have made it many people's search engine of choice. Ecosia donates 80% of its ad-generated revenue to restoration projects around the world and remains fully transparent in its use of funds. What's more, in 2017, Ecosia built its own solar farm in order to run its servers on 100% renewable energy, with plans to expand as its user base grows. With the need for more sustainable endeavors growing daily, Ecosia has made saving the planet its business. With each of its extraordinary achievements, Ecosia comes one tree closer to changing the world.
Okay, guys, this is a lecture that's all about a new search engine. I prefer DuckDuckGo right now. I also use Brave. Unlike Tom, I actually liked Firefox. But then I realized it was collecting all my personal data, just like Chrome was. I try to stay away from Google as much as possible because they just take everything. So, yeah, this is a new type of search engine, but I think its benefit to humanity is that they're really interested about reforestation and planting trees. I know the other day I was recording something, and I think they had probably had to cut down 3 whole trees just to print the script. It was so long, and I just kept thinking, wow, we should be using an iPad or a computer tablet so we can save trees. I am a lover of trees. I think they're beautiful, and they make your air a lot more healthy. It's easier to breathe, and for people like me who sometimes has a hard time breathing, that's important. So we've got Ecosia. I'll confess that when I first saw this name, I pronounced it Ecosia. So you might hear some foreigners who speak English naturally or natively pronounce it Ecosia. I'm sure it's fine. We're going to stick with Ecosia. Tom found that on the internet. And it says it offers the world a sustainable way to browse. Is something sustainable? It means you can use something or consume it, and you're not making it completely disappear. It's able to come back or be maintained at a certain level. For example, it's very important to have sustainable fishing. If you just fish and fish and fish and fish, at one point, that particular fish species will be gone. So we try to be more careful when we use animals to eat, or even some of the natural energy sources out there. It's good to think about keeping the world clean, healthy, but also keeping some resources around that others can use after us.
Indeed. And, of course, we often hear the word sustainable referring to energy, sustainable energy like solar power and hydroelectric power and stuff like that. You don't have to say goodbye to it eventually, like oil and petroleum. That stuff is finite. But, of course, if you're on the internet, you need an interface, a software program, and that's a search engine. In the early days, of course, the first one that everybody loved was, what was it called? Netscape, I think?
Oh, yeah.
It disappeared really fast.
It was good.
It was good, but it disappeared because of...
They were bought out.
Is that what happened?
Oh, that's what always happens.
Yeah, everybody started using Internet Explorer or something like that.
There was also Alta. Do you remember Alta?
I remember Alta Vista as a search engine, which was before Google, but that basically tells everybody out there how old we are. But in any case here, browsing is the verb here, so this is a sustainable way to browse. You use a browser to browse the internet, to look for information, to look for funny cat videos on YouTube.
Oh, is that what you do?
Well, that's what a lot of people do.
You can just go to YouTube and search there for their cat videos. I mentioned earlier DuckDuckGo is a browser. It's actually a search engine, so thank you, Tom. I was thinking, oh, yeah, that's a search engine. But Brave, with the lion face and it's orange, it's kind of new, and they pride themselves on keeping your browsing habits private and not selling that information or giving it away. So yeah, you can also go browse inside stores, right? If you go into a store and you just want to look at stuff, you don't have a lot of money, I just say I'm browsing. Or in America, of course, we just say, thank you, I'm just looking.
Exactly. So you browse the internet with a browser. And let's go to Holland now.
Okay.
We got a Dutch university.
Yeah.
This university has adopted a new search engine as part of its campaign to become more sustainable. So again, this is a search engine and not a browser. This is Maastricht University, and they recently installed Ecosia as its default search engine on 800 student computers and labs and libraries across campus. Here we've got the word default, and of course, sometimes software programs come with a default setting. Those are the settings that they put on it from the factory. You can go into the menu and change the settings if you want to. There are default settings on your phone, and you can go in there and change those as well.
Yeah, so it's the factory default settings or factory default. You might want to change those. Take a look at that. So it's the default web browser. They put them on 800 student computers. It's a lot. So the students overseeing the campaign hope that other university departments will install the search engine on their computers and devices as well. So there's still some students and professors, some university departments that haven't signed on to test out this new search engine, and they're hoping that they will as well. If you oversee something, guys, usually you have a supervisor position, or you're supervising something, or you're managing something, you're watching other people's work and how it goes. So you might be an overseer. I think those people work in construction. But here, if you oversee, you just kind of make sure things are going well, that everyone's doing a good job and things are going according to plan, that you're meeting your deadlines and milestones.
Right, so the students hope that other university departments will install the site on their computers and on their devices as well. This is because Ecosia partners with tree planting organizations to plant 1 tree per 45 searches. So there's the incentive. If you start using this search engine on your computer, then they'll plant 1 tree per 45 searches. And hey, we'll have more oxygen in the atmosphere as a result. Okay, that brings us to the midway point in today's lesson. Let's take a break right now, but please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. We're talking about a new search engine that will help the environment quite a bit if you decide to download it onto your own computer. Every time it's downloaded, at least in this particular trial that's going on at this university in the Netherlands, the company, Ecosia, offers to plant 1 tree somewhere. So it's pretty cool. Let's take a look at whose idea this was. Who invented this particular search engine? We've got Ecosia's founder. Usually if someone's a founder of a new company, they probably had the original idea. Maybe they were able to even provide the computer coding. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they hired somebody. But whoever had the initial idea is the founder, and they set up the company or the organization. This is Christian Kroll. He developed the search engine after his travels through Asia, over here where we are, and South America. This inspired him to work on a project dedicated to positive social change. If you're dedicated to something, it means you devote a lot of time to it. You consider that particular project or hobby or even maybe a person. Maybe you're dedicated to making your parents happy. At one point in my life, I really wanted to dedicate myself to making sure my mom felt well and she was doing well. Once you get older, it kind of changes positions and you start taking care of your parents instead of them taking care of you all the time. Well, he was dedicated to positive social change. What does that mean, Tom?
Well, before I explain that, I wanted to say that this phrase, be dedicated to, of course, reminds me of an old Mamas and Papas song.
Oh, here we go.
This is dedicated to the one I love.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, you can look that up. I'm sure there are videos on YouTube.
They've used it in commercials.
They probably have. It's a very famous song. But in any case here, yes, he wants to do something that's dedicated to positive social change. In other words, he wants to do something that will make a contribution to society, to help reduce global warming, to prevent extinction of species and stuff like that. And Kroll built his first search engine in Nepal. But he abandoned it. He was abandoning it when it became clear Nepal's electrical grid wouldn't be able to support it. We often talk about the electric network there or the electrical grid in Nepal with the power plants and the transformers and the wires and stuff. It just wasn't designed to handle this search engine, so he gave up on this project in Nepal. He abandoned it. and at that time was called Zabel. It was designed to generate funds for the many non-governmental organizations operating in Nepal. So that's how he wanted to dedicate something to positive social change. He wanted to use this to generate money, to bring in some money for NGOs or non-government organizations in Nepal.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was just going to say a non-governmental organization. You hardly ever see it spelled out in complete words. It's just referred to as NGO, all letters with a small s, NGOs. Makes it plural. Yeah, so some countries, they're not quite as well developed as others. India has a problem with their electrical grid as well. I had a friend who lived there, and she'd say about 10 times a day the electricity would go off.
Oh, no.
So it's kind of hard to run a business and want to use the internet internationally if you don't have electricity. So he decided that he was going to continue with this idea. He liked the idea, it says, and later in Argentina, which is in South America.
Yep.
Kroll's study of reforestation gave him the idea for a site that would support tree planting and forest restoration projects. Reforestation, of course, is when people go in and plant trees in an area that used to be full of trees. It used to be a forest, but the trees were cut down for people to use. So that's reforestation. If you restore something, restoration is the noun form of the verb to restore. It means you're putting something back to its original nature or condition. Maybe you want to restore an old home. You have to do a lot of construction work on that. This was a restoration project. And of course, what they're doing is they're restoring trees to a forest where the trees were cut down.
Right, and it was done in an effort to offset carbon dioxide emissions. So as you know, trees absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So the more trees you have, the less CO2 that you have in the atmosphere. Now here in the next paragraph it says, aside from winning several major awards in the environmental world, Ecosia has also had the honor of being deemed Germany's first B corporation. Okay, so it's had two successes here. It's had quite a few awards in terms of environmental protection and stuff like that, but it has also been deemed Germany's first B corporation. So here we've got deem in the past tense. Deem as a verb. To deem just means you regard something or consider it a certain way. So I guess Germany gave it the honor of being a B corporation.
Yeah, that's a new term for me, a B corporation, but I'm sure we'll hear more about it as time goes on. Now, it says this certification designates a company that uses business to solve social and environmental issues. It was a big deal in New York when I was still working there for our little firm to do things to serve the community, to help out. It's a lot of charitable work that's done, money given to certain organizations. We helped the firefighters' families who died in 9/11. So, yeah, every company that really has a heart tries to do something good for the society they live in with their money. So here they said this certification, they're referring to the B company. You get a little certificate. People love certificates here, I've noticed. Certification means you have passed through an official test, and the people giving you the certificate feel like you are up to their standards and you deserve that certificate. That's the piece of paper, or maybe it's a plaque that goes on the wall. Certification, of course, is the process.
Right, so this is the B corporation distinction. Again, it's a certification, some kind of recognition, some kind of official document, and it designates a company that uses business to solve social and environmental issues. So that's what a B corporation is. I think the B actually stands for benefit, a corporation that benefits the environment, but here the definition says it uses business to solve social and environmental issues. So in other words, it's a company that's trying trying to help out the world. They're not just in it for the money only, okay? Yes, they're trying to, survive as a company, but they're also trying to help out the world. In this particular case, they're trying to grow lots of trees. Maybe some other companies may try to stop pollution or clean water, stuff like desalination plants or something like that. Who knows? But again, these distinctions, it says here in the next sentence, while these distinctions are certainly impressive, it's the global sustainability efforts that Ecosia devotes itself to that have made it many people's search engine of choice. So yes, even though these distinctions or these awards or these recognitions are very impressive, there's something to write home to mom about for sure. But still, it's the global sustainability efforts that Ecosia devotes itself that have made it people's search engine of choice. In other words, yeah, it's got these awards and stuff like that, but we like this company because of what it's doing for the environment. Therefore, we're going to use their search engine.
Yeah, notice this last part in the sentence, people's search engine of choice. I know this is really confusing when we use of, and this is a particular way of talking about what someone prefers in a group of things or a group of choices, a group of options. My soda pop of choice is Sprite here in Taiwan, it's a tiny bit formal, but you can still use it in spoken English. So Ecosia donates 80% of its ad-generated revenue. Most of you know that there are ads running on browsers. Well, they get paid money for that, of course. So they donate almost all of it. 80% is a lot of money. So they donate that to the reforestation projects around the world and remains fully transparent in its use of funds. I guess I was a little surprised the first time I learned that NGOs sometimes don't use all of that money donated to them for good causes. We find some people who work for those NGOs just put that money into their own pockets and become rich.
And they buy themselves a Ferrari or something to impress the girls.
Yeah, you got to check those people out. A lot of charities aren't giving much of that money to the people they say they're trying to help. So if you are transparent, it means you're willing to let the public look at your books and see where the money's going. You're not hiding anything. You're not trying to get away with something that's illegal or sneaky or unfair. So you want your government to be transparent, and you want your NGOs to be transparent too.
And, I kind of have a feeling that they are a legitimate company here. I've met quite a few Dutch people. Not a lot, but the ones I have met are usually pretty chill, pretty relaxed, pretty laid back. So I think they're probably very sincere here in what they want to do. They don't just want to get rich quick. So yes, they're going to let their records be public information. People can check their tax forms and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have to post them because if you're an NGO, you don't have to pay taxes to the government.
That's right. So they're going to make sure everybody can see the records, and so that people can know that they are on the up and up, that they are legitimate, and they aren't trying to put that money in their pockets.
Yeah, that's a great phrase Tom just used. If you're on the up and up, it means you aren't trying to do anything shady or tricky or illegal. You're honest and you're trying to do the right thing. So if someone checks out a company, maybe you're thinking of applying for a job somewhere, and you check them out and you know a friend and your friend has a pretty close personal contact there. They might tell you, yeah, they're on the up and up. So it just means you can trust them to be honest people.
And hopefully we can do that with Christian Kroll here and his company.
Yeah.
And what's more, or in addition, in 2017, Ecosia built its own solar farm in order to run its servers on 100% renewable energy, with plans to expand as its user base grows. So they built their own solar farm to, of course, put up those wind turbines. And
they're the solar panels.
Oh, the solar panel. Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm talking about windmills there.
Oh, yeah.
That would be wind power. This is a solar farm, so yeah, they'll have solar panels there. They may have found some desert someplace to put these panels up in.
I hope they didn't build in Texas where they lost all their power because they had renewable energy that froze. So be careful where you get your renewable energy put in, I guess,
Right.
I live in Arizona. Solar power would be a pretty good idea in the desert.
Sure, where there's a lot of sun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about the Netherlands, but they must have done it somehow. And yes, they built their own solar farm with those solar panels to produce electricity so that its servers, all those computers and stuff that generate the power or generate the service for the computer network, all of them can run on 100% renewable energy. They're not going to use coal or gasoline or petroleum or natural gas or whatever. So they have plans also to expand that solar farm as its user base grows. So as more and more people use this search engine, they will expand their solar farm.
I think it's possible, Tom, that their solar farm is not in the Netherlands. Remember, he really enjoyed South America and Asia. Maybe he built his solar farm in another country. It's pretty cold in the Netherlands. It's beautiful, though, if you get a chance to go.
A lot of tulips there, yeah.
Oh, it's
and
on
windmills and wooden shoes.
And wooden shoes, yeah. I've only been to Amsterdam. I'd really like to go back. So it says here, with the need for more sustainable endeavors growing daily, Ecosia has made saving the planet its business. So they really are, it sounds like they're primarily focused on their sustainability and helping with their reforestation efforts, which sounds great. If you're talking about endeavors, it just means projects, tasks that you're involved in. A lot of times you'll hear foreigners wish each other success in their future endeavors. Wow, good luck with all your future endeavors. So whatever you set out to accomplish, we hope you're successful. I don't hear many Taiwanese who are speaking English use this phrase, but we do a lot, especially if we're saying goodbye to someone. Maybe a colleague is moving on to another company or maybe even moving to another country. You know, good luck in all your future endeavors is often written in cards.
Yeah, for graduation or when people quit their jobs or whatever. And Ecosia has made saving the planet its business. That's what their business is all about. So, of course, they're trying to help out the world and not really get rich quick there. And with each of its extraordinary achievements, Ecosia comes one tree closer to changing the world. And I'm all for that. I think we definitely need to plant more trees. We do have the problem of deforestation, which is going on especially in Brazil, but in other parts of the world as well. I think Indonesia's got a big problem with that as well. So yeah, if we can plant trees again and keep producing oxygen and having a home for birds and things like that.
It just is better air, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's better, cleaner air, yeah.
It does certainly help out Taipei with all the trees they have lined on Dunhua, Beilu, and Renailu and places like that.
Yeah, the park is great. I'm very close to Da'an.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of big trees there.
Park.
I remember when it opened, there were just little saplings there.
They're great now.
But they're nice and big now, so that's a good job. Well done by the Taipei city government and by Ecosia. And that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Hopefully we've learned a thing or two about web browsers and search engines and stuff like that.
Here's another choice, and we all like to have options.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than Google or Alta Vista or Lycos. They probably don't exist anymore.
Those last two are gone.
They're long gone, yeah. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our program. Please join us again next time. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.